I'm Dylan Oliver. Welcome to NFL What If, a series where I will be talking about how NFL history could have changed and how these events would have played out in my head. Today, we'll be traveling back to a time before COVID, before Peyton Manning retired, before Tom Brady was the undisputed GOAT. We are going back to the 2014-2015 NFL season, more specifically, the 2015 NFL postseason. The season had wrapped, the playoffs were set, and all eyes were on Super Bowl 49. But before we get there, we had to figure out who would represent each conference. The AFC, we had the New England Patriots and Tom Brady, and in the NFC, it was the Seattle Seahawks after an insane comeback versus the Green Bay Packers because of a dropped onside kick by Packers tight end Brandon Bostick. Then, in the Super Bowl, well, we all know what happened in that one.
Play clock at 5. Pass is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler.
But, what if Bostick would have caught the onside kick? Or done what he was supposed to do, which was block and allow Jordy Nelson to recover the kick? How differently would that season have played out, and how would players' legacies be today? Well, let's start off right after the recovery. Let's say Green Bay recovered this onside kick. It'd be the Packers' ball with about 2 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the game, having a 5-point lead, and the Seahawks would only have one timeout. The Packers were the number one offense that year. They would have the ability to run out the clock and win the game, punching their ticket to Super Bowl 49 to face off against Tom Brady and the Patriots in 2 weeks' time. It would be a Super Bowl for the ages. Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers. Number 1 seeded Patriots versus the league MVP and league's number 1 offense in Green Bay. These two teams played once earlier in the season in Green Bay, where the Packers won 26-21. So this rematch would be highly anticipated and just as close, if not closer. The Patriots would win the coin toss and defer, giving the ball to the Packers first. The Packers would start off the game more fired up and ready for this game, kind of like how the Packers looked in 2010 Super Bowl win over the Steelers when they jumped out to an early lead. The same thing would happen here. The Packers would go down and get an Aaron Rodgers to Davante Adams opening drive touchdown. The Patriots would not be able to respond, and they'd punt the ball back to Rodgers and the Packers, which would allow the Packers to go down and take a 10-0 lead. At the end of the first quarter, after another disappointing drive out of the Patriots, the Packers would get the ball back again and look to increase their lead to 17-0. After a good drive getting to the red zone, the Packers would be unable to punch it in, settling for another 3, getting the lead to 13-0 with a little over 3 minutes left in the first half. Although Brady and Belichick were down, they were in a fine with their situation. Brady put together a great 3-minute drive connecting with Gronk right before the half ends, cutting the Packers' lead down to just 6 points going into the half. After a very entertaining halftime show, the second half was beginning. With the Patriots receiving the kickoff, the Patriots were looking to double up on touchdowns and erase the Packers' lead before Aaron Rodgers could even get on the field again, and that's exactly what they would do. The Patriots went down and scored a touchdown from LeGarrette Blount and an extra point from Stephen Gostkowski. The Patriots were up by 1 point out of the second half. Rodgers and the Packers would look to respond, but failed to do so, giving the ball back to Brady. With this, Brady would put together a nice drive, but have to settle for a field goal, getting the lead up to 17-13. After a 3-and-out by both teams, Rodgers had the ball and needed to score. The league MVP orchestrated a drive ending in an 18-yard touchdown pass to Jordy Nelson to get the lead back to 20-17. Brady, looking to respond, is doing equally as impressive of a drive, getting them down to the 8-yard line, but then, not seeing Packers corner Casey Hayward breaking on Julian Edelman's route, making a huge interception in the end zone. After the pick, the Packers are unable to do anything with it, and have to punt the ball back to the Patriots. Going into the fourth quarter, Brady is looking to go up and put the Patriots up by 4, and that's exactly what he will do. The Pats put together another great drive, ending in a 17-yard touchdown pass from Brady to Gronk again, making the score 24-20. Rodgers knows he needs some points on this drive, and he's able to deliver. The Packers are able to respond, with Rodgers throwing a third touchdown pass, this one to tight end Andrew Corliss. This pass puts the Packers back in the driver's seat, with a score of 27-24, with a little over 5 minutes left in the game. Brady comes back out onto the field and is going for the kill shot. A touchdown on this drive would make it very difficult for the Packers to win this game, and Brady knows it. Brady puts together a methodical drive, taking a little under 4 minutes off the clock, but it ends up with just 3 points, tying the game at 27 all. With only 1 minute and 12 seconds left on the clock, the Patriots kicked off, giving the ball back to Aaron Rodgers, and is giving him one last chance to put together a game-winning drive and win Super Bowl 49. Rodgers has the ball on his own 20-yard line. Mason Crosby's longest kick that season was 55 yards, meaning Rodgers needed to get about 42 yards to give Crosby a chance, and has to do it all within 1 minute, 12 seconds, with just one timeout. The drive starts with a back shoulder pass for 13 yards to Davante Adams, getting out of bounds and stopping the clock. Then, a slant route to Randall Cobb over the middle for just 8 yards. After that, Rodgers hurries the team up and he gets sacked for a loss of 6 yards and uses his timeout with just 58 seconds remaining. Rodgers has a 3rd and 8 at his own 35. He snaps the ball, throws a laser over the middle of the field into the hands of Richard Rodgers for a gain of 14 yards. He then goes no huddle and hits Randall Cobb again down the seam, but only for a gain of 6 yards, before hurrying up and spiking the ball with only 32 seconds left. The Packers only need 7 yards to give Crosby a chance. The next play though, Rodgers gets pressured and must throw the ball away, forcing an intentional grounding and a 10-second runoff on the clock, and a loss of 10 yards as well for the Packers. The Packers are now in a bad spot, having just 16 seconds left and needing to go at least 17 yards for a chance for a field goal for Mason Crosby. With the Packers' last shot, their number 1 receiver, Jordy Nelson, finally beats Patriots corner Darrelle Revis for a gain of 24 yards. Rodgers and the Packers rush to the line and get a snap off and spike the ball, stopping the clock with just 2 seconds left. Mason Crosby comes out onto the field, ready to attempt about a 48-yard field goal to win the Packers the Super Bowl. And Crosby, just like so many times in his career, comes out and delivers, nailing a 48-yard kick, winning the game. The Green Bay Packers win the Super Bowl, bringing the Lombardi Trophy home for the 5th time and getting Rodgers his 2nd ring. Now, for the legacy standpoint of this ring. This outcome this season would give Rodgers a serious case for being greater than Tom Brady at the time, just in 2015. Keep in mind, at this time, Brady only had 3 rings, and his win in Super Bowl 49 over Seattle is what gave him his 4th. But if this scenario were to play out, Brady would still only have 3 rings, and Rodgers would now have 2, and one of those Super Bowl wins would be over Brady. So for the time being, Rodgers would be able to have a case for the greatest. Honestly, this ring would have done wonders for Rodgers' legacy. Thank you for watching. That's how I imagine the 2014-2015 NFL season would have played out if Brandon Bostick could have recovered the onside kick.